Good morning, friends. I just wanted to give you a little tour around my garden on June 3rd, 2020 in Sacramento, California, to Zone 9B. I just wanted to share my little happy place, my place of solitude, somewhere where I can control what's happening in the world slightly. Mother Nature still definitely has the reins, but it's a place where I can be happy and safe during these times of uncertainty. So I wanted to bring you along, and it's gonna be like over 100 degrees today, so I want to get this tour done right now before it gets sweaty hot. But over here in these horseshoe pit, what I call the horseshoe beds along the fence line, this is a new planting area. We just put in the horseshoe pits this season, and I figured I might as well like copy the line along the fence line and do these planters here. So I had some volunteer squash pop up, these two guys, and I have no clue what they are. I'm guessing spaghetti. This one's definitely different though, and it's like a trailer, a runner, and this one's more like upright, so we'll see what these squash end up being. But these are two volunteers. I figured I would throw some more squash over here, since if the volunteers are popping up, it might be a good spot for squash. So I picked up these SUNBURST at the feed store, and now they're starting to look really good and set some flowers. I also planted some like bush beans along the edge. I'm just using logs to kind of distinguish these planting areas so that the dogs and my boyfriend doesn't just go like walking through them, even though like I'm not afraid to walk in the garden beds at all. Get up in here, get close to the plants. I also put these more of the bush beans along this side and more logs to just kind of differentiate the planting sections. I thought I would do kind of the same thing over here. You can see it's not working as well though. I've got two little sunburst squash and then like one bean on each side of this planter. So this little side is looking a lot behind this side, but that's okay. We'll see if it catches up. We're having a pest problem along the fence line, so a lot of the plants keep getting dug up. But look at, we're still getting a little volunteer. I'm guessing blackberry. These little guys are blackberries, I'm not sure. Volunteer tomatoes. Look at this little guy, so cute. And a volunteer squash, another one down here, which got attacked by the bugs when it was pretty young, but it looks like it might survive, it might pull through. It's looking healthy, it's got some tendrils. And oh, look at another little volunteer tomato. So I have some late start tomato experiments. I just got some late tomato seeds and I figured, hey, I might as well plant them. Not really expecting anything, so maybe they'll go in the ground over here. The soil needs some work though. And like I said, we have some pests, so we've been trying to trap them, but we're just, it's an ongoing problem. Back here is just storage. It's very messy, but you can see along the fence line we have blackberries. I'll go and show you over there. Behind the chicken coop we just keep storage, so hopefully these cucumbers will grow up this chain link fence and kind of hide some of that. But I tucked some cucumbers in here just this last week, so they're still pretty small, but they're doing okay considering I haven't been able to keep a cucumber alive this season. These are looking pretty good. I also stuck some jelly melons over here, so hopefully these will grow up this trellis also. I'm really excited to try the jelly melons. They sound so weird. Oh, there it is, stuck some bush beans. These are the Taylor bush beans, I think. I just stuck some behind this swing in by the chicken coop. Oh, there's one. I don't have much faith for these because they're just being watered by the sprinkler. So we'll see how they do throughout the summer, but hopefully they'll just add a little bit of greenery to the chicken coop. You can hear we're on a pretty busy street here. Not sure if you'll be able to see. But yeah, we live on a pretty suburban area, but we still have 0.26 acres, so we're able to have chickens. Right now we have 7 mature layers that we've had for a few years, and then last February, or this February, a few months ago, we picked up 12 more little chicks. This is Geoergette. I thought I noticed something on her comb earlier. Hey, being naughty. But one of the kind of benefits of the pandemic, excuse me, is I've been able to hang out with them a lot, and so they're pretty social. Our older birds, they're not as social. But right now, our 7 layers are averaging about 4 eggs per day, which is pretty good for my partner and I. And then we have some to trade and sell. Hi, baby. You have a little mohawk. You have a little mohawk. So I love these little guys. It's been so much fun getting new little chicks this year. They are vicious though. They think freckles are fair game. Okay. I'm really excited. They should start laying in the next few months. And they're so cute. Look at that fluffy leg one. It's a pretty bird. Oh, sweet babies. So I let them out sometimes, but right now we have a lot of like little baby plants, and I don't want them to just dig up everything. Plus this grass is only like a year old, so I don't want them digging that up also. These are the feed sacks, the empty feed sacks. I save them and make them into tote bags. So I will have my Etsy shop linked if you guys want to check that out, but I figured we can, I guess, check out the raised bed garden next. This has been a very difficult area, just with irrigation and pests. Bulls dug up everything. I hate it. What the heck? Oh my goodness. That's a deep one. Wow, lame. But I don't know, I guess it's starting to take off. And then over there by the shed, we have a bunch of storage, messy storage, and our beans. So I guess let's start in here. We have 4 of these diamond-shaped beds in the corner, and then 2 rectangular beds in the middle, and stuff kind of tucked all the way around. So I guess we'll start here. In this pot, I just started some sage from seed, and I'm surprised as how well it's going. I just kind of covered it with this little, I don't know, plastic container so that the pests couldn't dig in it, and they're popping up. Some late start basil that I just started like this week, and they're starting to pop up. They're so cute. Basil is the cutest, and it's the best. This bed was really experiment, so everything was just kind of a volunteer. The squash and the sunflowers, these 2 little tomatoes are volunteers. I was just kind of seeing what would come up. Unfortunately, this bed got attacked by the pest the most and kept getting dug up, so these tomatoes have been dug up a few times. That squash that's looking pretty sad is because it was like, it set a little fruit and then it got dug up, and then it was really hot. But I replanted it and it's still green. It's had some flowers. It's just not the prettiest, but I think it will survive. Same with this cucumber. It's coming back to life. It's one of the better looking cucumbers, honestly, in my garden, even though it's still small. It got dug up. That one did too, and I don't think it's gonna survive. Because now the bugs are getting to it. This sunflower got dug up. That's why it's got scoliosis, because I had to like replant it and prop it up. But I think it'll survive. This is the smallest little sunflower. Then I've got 2 more in this bed. They're close together, so they're kind of short. This one's actually like my height, 5'6". And then I've got 2 more tall ones in the back. Look at that. And look at that. Crazy. They're so tall. So this bed was just an experiment, and then I stuck in 2 okra that I got from the feed store recently. I've never even had okra, but I've heard that it does well in the heat. So hopefully it does well in the garden this year. And I just popped them in there. So far they're looking good. They're growing up nice and tall, and we're having a little 100-degree heat wave. So I think they like it. I also tucked some bush beans back here. Oh, and they've got little flowers on them. How cute. And these are golden snap peas. And they're really late planted. I ordered the seeds really late from MI Gardener, and I figured I would just try a handful in here. I saved most of them to put in my fall garden, but you can kind of see that they're coming in golden. The shoots are golden. It's beautiful. So I enjoy, even if I don't really get a harvest from these peas this season, I'm still enjoying watching them grow. Here's another good looking cucumber just tucked in here, hiding. This cucumber and the pole beans and cucumber over there were in this bed that had to be redone, taken out. You can see, I'm not sure if you can tell, that it's a lot shorter. It's only 1 layer because the top layer broke, and I didn't want to fix it. So I just made it a single layer and added like logs. I'm gonna try, and as these beds kind of fall apart and come out, I want to try and go to more like no dig permaculture, Hugelkultur. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. So this is just kind of my temporary solution because it's already, like I said, getting 100 degrees, so I had to get the plants in the ground. Here's a little late start tomato just hiding here in my little garbage greenhouse. I don't know what variety this is. We'll find out together. I stuck another cucumber in here because this bed just got demolished. Like I said, these back beds were an experiment, and the experiment failed. The pests got to them, and all of my plants got dug up, except for this little pole bean and the giant sunflower. So these stayed in, and then I just replanted a cucumber in here and another little garbage greenhouse and a cantaloupe on that side. So hopefully the cantaloupe can just kind of sprawl out over here. Maybe the cucumber can trellis. That was my thought. And then I also have the trellis for the tomato. A little bit of support. I hung up my hat. This is my Walmart hat that I used at the river last year. I just hung it up here as kind of my scarecrow. And there's that other really tall sunflower. It's so pretty. There was an earwig on it earlier, or else I would try and show you. I can't even see. Hopefully there's a flower there. My neighbors probably think I'm crazy. Oh well. Here's the pole bean and cucumber that came out of this bed, and they're not looking so good. But oh, look at that! It does have a little flower on it, so it's small. It's a small little plant, but I think it's healthy. I feel like that's the theme for my garden this year. This one doesn't look so good. Cucumber? Question mark? My garden last year was like large. The plants got really large, but they weren't as productive. So this year I'm okay with small plants, like as long as they're producing. Like I still have these are again late planted peas. Half of them got dug up, some of them got ate by the chickens, and I think I killed one or two of them. So this is what's left, and they're still kind of like flowering. So I'm just gonna kind of leave them here. They have the shade of the palm tree here and the oak tree. So I was hoping that would kind of extend their season. And then I popped in some okra also that I got from the feed store. So hopefully if these like get nice and tall, it'll also provide some shade for the peas. These are all burgundy okra. So I don't know, send me some burgundy okra recipes. So far they're pretty, and I'm really excited about the flowers that come on these. I tried to sneak in, I think, a cantaloupe and a cucumber in here. Maybe the cantaloupe can kind of like sprawl out. This cucumber doesn't look so good. I don't have faith. Dead plants everywhere. If you guys could know how many plants I've killed, it's sad. These are like herb starts in a tuber potato tower. I've just been like piling straw on it every time I see some potato greens. And yeah, it's so far working good. And it kind of like slides up like this. So maybe that will make it easier to harvest. I don't know. I've never grown potatoes like this. It's just an experiment. This whole garden is an experiment this year. Look at this chamomile. I've been taking flowers from this, and it looks beautiful. I separated the starter that I got from the nursery and planted it on this half of the garden, and then over on the other half right there, like right when you walk in. And yeah, it's just beautiful. I've been harvesting the little flowers and drying them out, and it just smells delicious. I've been like tapping it so that the seeds will just go everywhere, and hopefully it just grows and grows and grows in my garden. Something I have fallen in love with. I can't believe I haven't grown chamomile before. Okay, the next beds, the other half of the garden over here, it's kind of the same thing. We've got two diamond-shaped beds and a rectangle bed in the middle, and then some stuff on the outside. So over here, I just stuck in a bunch of late start tomatoes, like really late start tomatoes. So I'm happy to see that they're doing okay. They're really small, and they'll probably hit maturity right in the peak of summer. So I'm not expecting a lot of harvest off of them. They're just experiments, but there's a few popped in along here, and this is pretty much like sand, city dirt. It's not wonderful, so I'm surprised that they're growing at all. Ooh, this one looks like it got topped. Nice. Here's another little tomato, and I stuck some like lettuce greens just popped in here. I was hoping they would get shaded. Oh, this one doesn't look good. And then a little brandywine. So interesting how the leaves on the brandywine are different, or like distinct. And I also popped a few. Do you hear that? I live really close to a busy street. Sorry guys. If you hear ghetto birds and sirens, the state capitol right now is under protest and like being torn apart. So I'm really happy to have this little sanctuary garden. These are little bush beans popped in here just along the edge. They have this like trellis if they need it. There's another one behind here, and another one behind here, behind this giant container of mint. I'm really happy I put it in this like metal tub, because it's going for it. It's going wild. I've harvested so many sprigs off of this. I've been drying it, having it fresh in like milkshakes or like smoothies. It's just amazing. I love mint. I'm so happy that it's doing so well. I have some little salad greens I've been harvesting off this since it's getting really hot here in Sacramento. I've been harvesting the leaves pretty small. And I harvested after my garden tour video that I did yesterday, but I can't get the footage off of my camera, and a like bug bit me during the filming, so I was kind of out of it. Like bit me. What the heck? This is a really just pretty beautiful time, and it's starting to have the little flowers. Oh, it's so cute, and it's just like a bright neon green, beautiful herb to have in the garden. Love it. This is I think from last season, and I've split some off and tried to establish it in another part of the garden, but I think I'm just gonna let it take over here. Go for it time. Just take over. It smells delicious. In this bed, I call this my pepper bed because I've got a bunch of peppers here on the outside. I was hoping to kind of fill in these spaces with some more peppers, and I have some that I started from seed on the other side of the garden that I'll show you, but honestly I might just go to the feed store and see if they have any pepper starts to fill in these spots. But here I've got a pretty jalapeno, and it's starting to flower and set little fruit. Hopefully got some jalapenos soon. We love jalapenos, so I'm really excited about this one. Here's another really pretty pepper that's starting to flower. Oh, it's got some ants on it. Got some ants. This is a garden salsa pepper. Look at this little guy. It's so tiny. It's not even as tall as my hand, but I don't know, it's looking like it's doing good. It's got little like blossoms there on the top of these little teeny tiny stalks. So cute. So maybe it's just like a tiny pepper, but this is the Thai hot pepper. So cute. I thought I stunted it, but I don't know. It still looks like it's alive. And like I said, I'd rather have small productive plants than, nothing. So I'm just gonna see how it grows. Oh, more ants. Oh my goodness. This is a bell pepper, and it's just covered in ants. But it's got lots of flowers, and it was setting some fruit down here at the bottom. And yeah, so this is my little pepper bed. And then I've got 2 eggplant. Oh, I'm so excited about this eggplant. This is the little finger, and it is just growing beautiful. Like, the eggplant blossoms are gorgeous. I'm obsessed. This one's like just opening up. They get like really, I don't know, really open and beautiful. These have already died back and are starting to set fruit, and I think it's just going to be like really prolific. I'm excited. This is the first time I've grown a lot of stuff, and I've only just started eating eggplant, and this is definitely the first time I've grown eggplant. The other eggplant we have over here is just like night and day. That one's like huge and like stocky or like lanky, and this one's like short and stout, but it was planted in another part of the garden, and I moved it over here, and since I moved it over here, it's grown like an inch. It's just like shooting up and growing more leaves. Oh look, there's a little bud. How cute. So I think it's enjoying its new home over in this bed. The rest of this bed is just kind of random. Random red lettuce, which I've been harvesting off of, and carrots. So random. Okay. The next beds, I showed you what was along here. This one was herbs. There were garlic in here, but those were harvested in spring. And now I'm just trying to get some herbs established. Basil, little baby basils, and then some chives. And I hope that just like takes over. And I have some more basil starters from seeds on the other side of the garden to fill this in. This one is another tomato bed with a trellis. I've been watching lots of like Roots and Refuge, so I copied her tomato trellis with the T-posts and some wire that we had left over from the fence. And the fence is just to kind of keep the chickens out of the garden, even though it doesn't always work. So this is another tomato bed. I have some late start from seed little tomato plants in these little garbage greenhouses. they're looking pretty sad. I don't have faith. That's why I planted them kind of close together. Some little black-seeded Simpson lettuce. Just been harvesting the little baby leaves off of that. It's already getting super hot, so I just harvest the greens before they get too bitter. This is a tomato start from Green Acres Nursery. The rest of these are. And this one, and look at the little baby cherry tomatoes. Oh my gosh, we're gonna have cherry tomatoes so soon. I'm just like patiently sitting here waiting for them to ripen. These little plants got a little bit of a late start after they were transplanted and then being dug up by pests, but they're looking good now. We've got some flowers and some fruit setting on all of our nursery starts. And tried to sneak some more little greens in here. We'll see how they do. Another little late start tomato. This one looks like it got attacked by the birds, so that's why it's in its garbage garden. Ooh, look at the bottom of the leaves. This is the Cherokee purple. Got a little purple leaf. How cute. Okay, so those are the tomatoes in this bed. And then the tomatoes in this bed. These are all the starts from Green Acres Nursery. This one's looking pretty good. It's got nice, strong, healthy leaves. Again, it's like really small. My plants are all really small, but they look healthy, so I'll take it. Even if they are, you know, a little bit later with producing. I'm already seeing people like their garden harvests, and I'm just like patiently waiting for mine. This is a Ace tomato, and it's got some flowers finally, and it looks like it's gonna do just fine. Not the case for this little Roma. It got topped and transplanted, and it's just been at this stage for a long time. I don't think it's growing, which is unfortunate. I'll probably tear it out here soon and maybe replace it with a starter from the nursery or one of my late starts from seed. See how it does. The last little tomato on this trellis is a Celebrity, and it's looking pretty good. We've got a little green guy here waiting for him to ripen up, and it looks like it's growing nice, strong leaves, healthy plant, just small. That's okay, small but mighty. These lettuce got destroyed by the chickens, and the pests dug them up. There was a row of them here. These are the last little 3 nubs. I won't even count this one, 2. But I did harvest, you know, a good amount of little baby greens off of these lettuces before the pests got them, and then the chickens got them. So they're just there. They might go to seed. I'm just gonna leave them, because the only other thing I have really is a little baby cantaloupe right here. So hopefully that just kind of like sprawls out and takes the rest of the bed. We'll see. I'm not really banking on anything in the raised beds at this point, because it just keeps getting dug up, which is sad. Next to it, I have this established rosemary, which is just one of my favorite herbs. I just come out here and, you know, smell my hands. It just calms me down. I was overwatering it, so it's a little yellow, but it's rosemary. It's tough. It's a weed. It'll be fine. And then I've got 2 tomatillo plants right here, and the tomatillos have ants on them. I'm sorry, but they're blossoming, and I've never grown tomatillos before, so I have no clue what to expect, but they look beautiful, and I love how they look so far. And I love tomatillo salsa, so I hope we get to harvest off of them. This one is nice and like tall and skinny, and then I was trying to bury this one really deep, and I ended up like snapping it in half, leaves separate from the roots, snapped in half. So I just buried it, and it's coming back to life. It's got blossoms on it. It's got nice green leaves. I have faith. And I'm excited because the tomatillos need a pollinator, like you need 2 of them. So I was really bummed when I murdered that one. But he came back to life. It's okay. There's a sad little tomato start, just tucked in there. Oh, not as sad as this one. Look at that. Oh, little baby. This is a small tomato variety, the Kiss, Geranium Kiss, I believe. But that's just pathetic. And the last little chamomile, which I told you about. Just harvest these beautiful flowers, pop them right off, and then dry them on a tea towel for a week or so, and then put them in a mason jar, and it just smells beautiful. So that was the raised beds and the horseshoe beds, our chickens, and then we just put in this fire pit. We've had the honey pups, but the fire pit is new, and these little dwarf fruit trees from Green Acres Nursery are new, but they already have little fruits on them. This is the Meyer lemon, and hopefully I'll get these guys in the ground. I'd like to do like an orchard and have more little fruit trees in the front yard eventually. This is a little mandarin, and they just kind of frame the little bench seat by the fire pit. And then behind it on the shed, there's lots of storage over there, so it's kind of a mess. But isn't this cute? And look at how pretty these beans look traveling up this little trellis. These are the Taylor bush beans, and I just planted them in these spool planters that my partner made. They're kind of awesome. They've just got this little like planter in there, and I thought these bush beans would be kind of cool. They would spill out, and I also put this little trellis up in case they needed some support, which I'm glad they did, because look at these little Taylor beans. They sent off these like runners or vines and just going for it. The top crop bush beans in the middle, you can see they aren't as viney, but they still look like very prolific, and I think we're gonna have lots of little beans. They're starting to flower. They're coming in a little bit later than these Taylor beans, but look at them, they're beautiful. Gorgeous little flowers. And hopefully we'll have lots of little beans on them. Little beans, they're so cute. Gotta keep an eye out for worms. I found a worm on the other side of the garden yesterday. So big. Look at these. Very excited about the Taylor beans, of course. Cute. And next to it, I just have these terracotta pots with late start peppers. I'm not sure how they're doing though. I don't see anything yet, but they're just planted. So hopefully they pop up soon. If not, we'll just replant them. There's always next season, right? So yeah, here's the north side of the garden. Our beans, the raised bed, the chickens, the horseshoe pit, or the horseshoe beds along the fence, and our 2 little dwarf fruit trees.
So I'm gonna go share the other half of the yard on the south side. Senior frog. I want to paint him like an Alebrije from Coco.
Along the fence line, we've got wisteria, and I've just been training it along a wire all the way down to kind of make like a living fence, a secret garden, and it just provides more privacy between the neighbors and I really like how it looks. And the bees love it, the bugs love it, it's beautiful. I've got this little hammock sitting here under the camphor tree, which sheds a lot, but it provides really a lot of shade and habitat, and it's just really peaceful to sit underneath the hammock and watch the hummingbirds feed. I just filled up their feeder, and they're so much fun to watch buzz around the yard. Oh, I hear one. Maybe we'll see him while we're looking at this Philodendron monster. The leaves are just giant, and I'm not sure if it's because I've never like pruned it before, but I've cut off some of these little guys and it's starting to flower, and the flowers are so weird. Look at that. They're so funny. It's like a banana in a, I don't know, they're so weird, but such a pretty flower. This leaf, this bright green leaf, just unfolded from the center stalk. It's just the weirdest plant, but it's so beautiful. I love it. The flowers are so weird though. Underneath there's lots of weeds. I've got some citronella that I took from that half of the planter that's just taking over. So I'm glad to see it at least establishing over here. I'm sure soon it will just take over. And look at this little guy. I found this tiny little cilantro. I'm not sure how it survived, where it came from, but I'll take it. Along here, I also found a few more volunteers. I have to find them again, but they're little tomato volunteers, a whole cluster of them. Here they are. Look at that. Tomato. Here's one. There's like a whole bunch of them. So cute. So I'm just gonna kind of keep an eye on these. Oh, extra tomatoes. They look pretty sad. That's okay. What else? More wisteria. This giant walnut tree, which just shed all of this. I was hoping to have the yard clean, but it's okay. This is real life. It's just starting to kind of set little fruit, nuts, whatever you want to call it. So the squirrels will soon be terrorizing my yard, burying these little walnuts. We don't really get any harvest off of them. It just feeds the squirrels. So this is a huge walnut tree over here. So many walnuts. And then the tree in the corner is a persimmon. Oh, there's one, which is already starting to set fruit. Crazy. This is a big persimmon tree. And then along the fence line, we've got 3 younger trees, 2 cherries. We haven't harvested anything off this little guy yet, but he looks healthy. He's only a year or 2 old. The next one, we got our first handful of harvest this year. So excited, like literally a handful, but they were delicious. And then the plum tree on the end is looking really good, especially this little guy. Very soon. So it is pretty full of little plums. Oh, look at how pretty the trumpet vine looks. The bees love it, the hummingbirds love it. It's beautiful. It adds like a living fence, privacy, just gorgeous. And there's also grapes coming in. I don't see any yet. Those grow in along the fence line also. So that is the little fruit tree over here in my garbage garden. This is the south side garden, I would say. We've got, oh, a little pea here. I was hoping it would kind of climb up this trellis, but I'm not sure how it's gonna work. It's just an experiment. There's a little cantaloupe tucked in there, and a few more, which I'm hoping just kind of like sprawl out in this area behind this vegetable bed. This is a spring bed that I planted a little bit too late, so these carrots didn't do too well. I might just let them go to seed. I've got some black-seeded Simpson lettuce tucked in here, and I've been harvesting little baby greens off of these guys. There's a row of onions in the middle, more lettuce, and then another row of carrots. I tried to sneak in one of my late start tomatoes just in here. We'll see how it does. But this bed is, yeah, it's just an experiment. Here's another raised bed with one of my late start tomatoes tucked in a little garbage greenhouse. Some late start little lettuces just popping up. And then some cucumbers that had to be transplanted that I don't have much faith in surviving, but they're in there. There's another row of late start carrots, which didn't do too good, and a row of Taylor bush beans behind this crazy little pea shoot trellis. And these little Taylor beans are starting to go for it. Look at this one's trellising. We've got flowers here. This one was a transplant, so I'm happy to see some flowers on it. And yeah, they're looking good. I might tear out some of these peas soon because, like I said, it's hot. I'm already starting to sweat, and I'm not sure how well they're going to do in the heat. And maybe it'll give more light to these bush beans. Along here, I just stuck in a little tiny little palette. It's so little, it's so cute, but I just have tiny little jelly melons, and hopefully it can kind of trellis on this. And yeah, have some little hanging planters here with some herb starts. And then these are the feed sacks that I make out of the recycled feed sacks. Feed sack totes, what am I trying to say? These are the rejects, or ones that didn't make it into the shop. I'm trying them out as grow bags. So in here I've got some like pepper starts and a little tomato experiment, just seeing how they do, because like I said, I had extra bags, so why not try it out. This is where I start out all my seeds, the little propagation station. Right now not too much because it's too hot, but I've got lots of little herbs, basil, some late start tomatoes that I'm not expecting too much out of, and then peppers popping up here. That's about it. And cucumber, cantaloupe, and herbs, not much. In these totes, which will probably be coming out soon, I just have these peas. Like, they're still flowering, it still looks pretty good, but it's really hot. I'm sweating, I'm glistening, and I've just been harvesting these little pea shoots and eating them fresh before they get too big. Ooh, a wasp. I will leave you alone, buddy, and show everyone the big beautiful pole bean trellis. Yesterday I found a hornworm over here, so I'm gonna watch out. But these are just going for it. They're climbing up this trellis. This side is like over 6 feet, 7 feet tall already. Look at that, it's just going for it. And I think we're gonna have lots and lots of pole beans. There were some flowers on it. I also stuck some squash in here because I planted both of these trellises at the same time, and if you guys can see, the left trellis is way more established. It did way better than the right trellis. So I stuck in these two sunburst squash just to kind of fill in the space and ground cover. Maybe it can trellis if it wants to, but I also have these pole beans here which can trellis, and I think this is a morning glory, which also might want to trellis. There's a little romaine. It is so sweaty hot right now, so it's a little bit wilted, but it's so beautiful. And then I think the last little thing, other than these random mass turnips, is a little cantaloupe tucked in here. So hopefully that can sprawl out also, or trellis, I don't know. Okay, I think that's just about the garden, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Had to come inside. Camera was overheating. I was overheating, but I wanted to wrap up and say thank you guys so much for hanging out with me on this little chill garden tour today. I wanted to share a little slice of my sanctuary, offer a little bit of virtual refuge and just simple peace of mind during your day. I hope it finds you well. I hope you're doing well, that you're safe, that you're healthy. And until I see you guys in the next video, stay creative. Oh yeah, if you're interested in the chalk wall, there's going to be a workshop for community members, my creative community. So I will have all the information in the description. Check it out. Thank you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me your favorite part of the garden or what I should plant next. Bye guys. The bread maker is done. Yes. Let's go check it out. Ooh, beautiful bread. Oh yeah. Look at that bun, glistening buns. It smells so good. Yummy. All right, not too shabby, hey? Looks good. Smells even better. I cannot wait to cut this up and eat it for lunch. Nice crust. Just a basic herb bread machine. Bread. I could not wait. It's like still warm to the touch. And soft and warm and delicious. There's nothing better than fresh baked bread.